much as I love you, but you make her fade. My dog will always come through.
450 right here at the Hot Talk KON studios, the Eddie Burke Show. I'm your host, Eddie. Chris taking your phone calls, 569-1080. Kevin Scholla is my guest. The Bear Facts and Grizzly Details every Thursday at 4:30. We'll have him on. He's a Breitbart columnist, sports announcer, and just all-around good guy. So, what do you want to do first, an NFL or radical Islam?
That's quite a choice, huh?
Deaths from every end of the world, right? You're going from one extreme to the other, man. Let's do NFL.
First you throw me with the Bon Jovi music, another Obama guy, and then...
we knew you'd like that.
Yeah, the NFL, I feel vindicated. The NFL was nice to me this week after I was horrendous with the college games. I was 0 for 2. I had Florida State and Alabama, so that was a disaster.
Oh, yes.
But
well, that's just traditional thinking, man. I mean, who would have thunk?
Yeah, I mean, people liked Oregon, but, Alabama, that was a surprise. And then NFL, though, was good. I was 4-0 with the winners and 3-1 against the spread. Dallas won, but they didn't cover, so that was good. So we'll see what happens this week. It should be a pretty good week for the 4 favorites, although, I don't know, I got a good feeling about Dallas lately, if you want to look for an upset. Yeah, upset this week of the
Okay, I'm taking the Packers in that deal just because it's going to be cold, and Rodgers is good to be cold.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, listen, other than the Seahawks, you got to take that Lambeau home field as probably the top home field right now. But, there's just something about Dallas right now that they seem to have things together for the first time in a long, long time. And I'm also just worried about Rodgers' health. I mean, he's got a tear there, and, he's going to play.
But he's not practicing.
If he's not 100%, that really, for lack of a better term, levels the playing field there. So, that's something to look for. I like Seattle a lot. Denver, Indianapolis gives them fits, and I'm a big Andrew Luck guy. I just don't think they have the roster otherwise, though. So, you'd have to think Denver at Mile High. And then New England I got to stick with because I picked them to win the conference. But as I mentioned to you last week, if there is a wacky team to watch out for here, it's Baltimore. And they did a great job against Pittsburgh. And I think the funny thing in the AFC is you probably have Denver and New England both saying, oh, no, look at the teams we drew here. 2 of their nemesis that, that give them fits.
Mm-hmm. Where you at? Are you still there?
I'm with you, Eddie.
Oh, okay. We lost. So we got Denver, Seattle, and then what's the other 2 winners you predicting?
And then we'll do Denver, Seattle. New England, I'm going with New England because they're my conference pick, although, as we mentioned last week.
Because you said New England in the end, right?
Yeah, Seattle over New England, but
right.
But I think, we mentioned last week that Baltimore's that team that you got to watch out for, and I think that both New England and Denver must be saying to themselves, oh, no, we drew our nemesis teams here. They could have had someone else.
Yes.
And the Colts and the Ravens have been, tough for the Broncos and Patriots, respectively. But, you know what? Give me Dallas with +6. I got to.
Oh, you want points?
They got to go one one upset pick here. So I'll pick the 3 favorites and then give me Dallas to stun everybody in Lambeau. Why not?
Right.
Maybe Chris Christie might come out of the booth and play some tackle. You never know.
Hey, man. Hey, I don't know. I know, hey, you're having a good time, you're in the moment and everything, but the 3 guys jumping up and down, especially, Chris Christie being a fat boy, it just looked a little kooky, man.
It is weird. I think the cast of characters, the way they look, the ridiculous red sweater doesn't help.
Yeah.
I saw a great photo on Twitter, and it was the 3 of them hugging, and it just said, "You are not the father," with a giant exclamation point, like a little tip of the hat to Maury Povich and his nonsense. So
it almost,
that was pretty funny.
It almost reminded me of the presidential race where McGovern or what, I don't know who it was, the caucus was, had the helmet on in the tank, It just, I don't know. It was one of them moments, or when what's his name screamed out loud or something, and his
that was Dukakis with the right, Howard Dean screaming. Or John Kerry. Remember John Kerry? They gave him a gun to make him look, or Obama holding the gun. That was even better. I mean, that was ridiculous.
It just seemed to me one of them moments, but I don't know. All right, radical Islam. Is this proof that, of course, we've been attacked too? I mean, I don't know. Is it proof that liberalism doesn't work? I mean, France has no-go zones. I mean, I never heard of such a thing where the actual community says no one's going to come into our neighborhood, not even police. If you don't live here, you don't come in here, or we'll kill you. I mean, they've really had these no-go zones. They've invited 6.5 million Muslims. I'm not saying all Muslims are bad, but I don't know. Is there any connection there between this liberalism and immigration policies? And this guy, one of them got a 5-year sentence. He got out in a year and a half. I don't know. Have you put any of this together?
Well, I mean, we see that even in our cities. I mean, look at the cities with the biggest problems. They're all run by Democrats. I mean, there's
Detroit.
No doubt about that, or those with a liberal agenda, if you want to put it that way, without a name, Democrats in France, but you know what I mean. But as far as this situation, I mean, at least you are saying right away, look how you're talking about it. Right away you are saying radical Islam. That is exactly what this is. It's an Islamic attack. Yet already the most disgusting thing, other than the act itself of what happened in France, is look at the spin already trying to be put on, this one CNN guy goes on an anti-Semitic tirade after the situation. I mean, how far from getting the point is that?
Yeah.
And then you look at some other networks, they're not going to post certain things already. I mean, these guys died in the name of, anti-censorship.
Yes.
These poor people that got wiped out here for no reason. And meantime, we have American networks and newspapers that are already going to, follow along with this.
We're not going to upset anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary that people go this way. But you're right. There's only one way to take these people down, and it's certainly not with liberal policies.
It's kill them.
For sure.
That's the only thing they understand. And I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about radical Islam. That's what I'm talking about. And the only thing they understand is a bullet in the head. Either they're dead or they're alive. And that's the only thing they get. There's no, hey, can we have a meeting? Can we sit down and negotiate? No, there's none of that.
Right.
What about? Let me get your comments on this. The president actually did say it was an act of terror. He used the terrorism. I think you know where I'm going. But he won't use radical Islam. He will not say. Remember before he wouldn't say terrorism, but he was just like in the corner on this one. But now he won't. He won't say radical Islam. What is up with that, Kevin? Tell us all. Finally, tell us.
Well, I mean, I think we all know by now, Eddie, this guy is an appeaser. I mean, he is a guy who, I don't know what his situation is. He calls himself a Christian, but we all know he doesn't attend any services. He doesn't, other than when it's Jeremiah Wright's racist church.
Yeah.
But, this, we know where he stands with this. He's the most anti-Israel.
You think it's something to do with his dad, and his dad's a Muslim, and he's just got this connection somehow, and he can't shake it.
Well,
and
we've never seen more of an anti-Israel administration.
Never.
We've never seen a guy. Look at the moves he's made with our military. Bo Bergdahl, you pull out. And meantime, we have these decorated, kids who are stuck over there for ridiculous situations in Mexico and other places, and he doesn't intervene.
No.
Look what he's. But that's nothing new with him. The respect or lack thereof he's given to some of our military members. Look at the long tribute he gives the other day to Stuart Scott. And listen, it's a sad situation. God bless Stuart Scott as a ESPN sports anchor. But you give a presidential statement on Stuart Scott and on Robin Williams, but still nothing on Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
That's what you just don't understand. So there's a huge disconnect there.
All right, I got
it's blame.
I'm sorry, man. I got to go.
America.
I got about 5 seconds. Kevin Scholla, thank you so much. We'll see you next Thursday at 4:30 Alaska time.